All right, everyone. Welcome to episode 10 of the Mafia Members Podcast. A podcast for the Bills Mafia, by the Bills Mafia. Big week this week. You're going to hear a new intro song we got from Joneson for Sports at JN4FOR Sports, SPORTS. Great guy, helping me out a lot. Appreciate everything he's done for me. He made a beat. And I made a video. So if you're listening on Spotify, be sure to go check out YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, but check out the new intro video I put together. I think it's pretty cool. And so this week we'll recap kind of the week that was for me. That obviously being a big thing for me. We did a live show, so we'll kind of talk about that for a bit. Some things I'd like to get in, some of the conversations I've had on Twitter this week, and kind of the last thing we'll touch on probably is, or one other thing we'll touch on is the expectations from Cook, because I've seen some things online this week that it's kind of interesting, and things that I'd like to like to talk about on here. So. Happy Canada Day, everybody. Happy July 4th to the American listeners. And with that being said, we're going to get right into it.
The Mafia Members Podcast.
Alrighty, guys. So, like we said, we'll kind of hop right into it here. So this week, I didn't put out an episode, as you guys know. I didn't do one because I knew I was going to be live on Brian Rago's show. He's at Cheese Talk _pod. CHEEZE talk _pod on Twitter X. Great guy, great show. We sat down for like an hour. I tried to spread the word of the Bills Mafia. So lots of fun. Had a blast doing it. He's a great guy. So definitely go check him out. Had a pretty fun conversation, talking about expectations for this year and how, I think that people will make you feel like you're crazy if you think the Bills are going to be good this year, but I think the Bills are going to be good this year. And so, we kind of talked about that a little bit, talked about the record predictions and, the impact of the Diggs trade. And, so as you guys know, I don't think the Diggs trade is going to be as big of a deal as the national media would have you believe. I think our wide receiver room as a whole is better. I think getting kind of that vibe out of the locker room is good. And it was funny, we were talking, and I'm like, it was kind of a similar situation where we don't he's like, how do you think, like, what are you watching for? Or like, what's happening in mini camps for you guys or at your OTAs? And I was like, really, we're just happy that there's not a whole bunch of drama. Like, we got rid of Diggs. We don't have some guy saying that he's going to go play for another team, worried about contracts, saying he's unhappy, all these kinds of things. We don't have that. We just got guys. We got a chill vibe. We just got a bunch of dudes trying to play football. And he was saying how it was similar to them in Green Bay without Devontae Adams and without Aaron Rodgers now, that they're just kind of enjoying everybody show up to training camp, everybody training in training camp and just going through the drills and doing whatever. So it was kind of fun to see the similarities in the two franchises this off season. So yeah, he was, it was lots of fun. I think there was a few people there. They tuned in, got a couple comments there, so that was lots of fun. It was my second time doing a live. I did another one with T. Everybody knows T, who's a member of the Bills Mafia. She's part of the Built-in Buffalo family, so shout out everybody in the Built-in Buffalo. But she does Not Your Average podcast, NYAP in the 716. So she was great. Did a live with her as well. So I didn't do an episode last week because I felt like my voice was out there enough. But so yeah, so I sat down with Brian on Friday night. It was about an hour long. Great conversation. Lots of just life stuff as well, and kind of how I got into being a Bills fan, and naturally being from Wisconsin, we talked about cheese curds, stuff like that. I still think, until I get down there and try a Green Bay cheese curd, I still think up here in St. Albert, I think we got the better cheese curds, that's for sure. But yeah, so I just wanted to give Brian a shout out there. Great show, great being a part of it, and definitely he invited me to come back. Maybe once preseason is on, or maybe a couple games into the season, or whatever the case may be. But he definitely invited me back, and I'm definitely going to be going back. And that brings me to my next point, which is I did get I will be doing I'll be hosting some live events as well. I'm going to try and reach out to some people, see who's available. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. Hopefully we'll get some other Bills fans, and we can kind of bounce some ideas around. Yeah, but overall, very very happy with how the week went. Okay, so now we'll actually get into some football talk, because one of the things that came up in the show was the running backs. So what my expectations were for James Cook this year, and Brian was talking about Josh Jacobs. They just got Josh Jacobs, and I kind of gave my opinion on that. I don't think he'll be better than Aaron Jones, but I think he's very very solid. Very solid player. So we kind of got into it a little bit on James Cook from my end, but definitely something I wanted to expand a little bit more on. And the way I see it for James Cook, I think he's going to be a huge part of this offense. I think we're definitely going to be I won't say run first, because I don't see a lot of just turning around and handing the ball off. But those like extended where they just throw it, but it's essentially a sweep. Those kind of swing routes for James Cook. I think that's kind of going to be his wheelhouse this year, is those kind of just kind of break through the line, turn around, maybe some screen games for him, stuff like that. The big thing for him this year, I think, is is catching those touchdown opportunities. Part of it, I feel like, sure, maybe some of it what he was is blown a little bit out of proportion, but obviously in the big moments, those plays do kind of still stick out. So he's going to be he's going to need to work on that for sure. I think he'll need to work on that. Forgot I was being recorded there for a second. So if you see that, just had a big yawn there, so I'm sorry about that. I muted myself. But yeah, so back into James Cook. I see him. I don't. He's not like a between the tackles guy in my eye. I think he can do it. I think he's shown that he can be shifty enough inside. But I think he's way better getting to the outside, throwing him those swing routes, getting him those even if it is like a handoff, those end around kind of or outside edge handoffs. I think those will be a big part in his game. But the question is, I think the real worry is, at least because one of the conversations I got into on Twitter this week was his fantasy value, and I don't really want to get too onto the fantasy football side of things, but I think that he's going to. I guess the worry is that his touchdowns will be going to Josh Allen, and his touchdowns, goal line opportunities will be going to Ray Davis, if that's the case. I understand the worry. I mean, as a Bills fan, I'm not worried because I feel like a touchdown is a touchdown regardless of who scores it. But I think I don't know. I think in the red zone we're still gonna have Cook there. I don't think these first and goal from the 1 yard line situations aren't very common. It's not like a huge thing. I think Cook is still the back, still getting the handoff if it's first and goal from the 6, 7, 8 yard line. I don't think Allen is scrambling for that touchdown. Like he might scramble for it, but I don't think it's a designed quarterback draw from that down and distance. And I don't think Ray Davis is in the game just yet. I don't think they have that much faith in him just yet. So I think James Cook is going to explode more so than he did last year. I think this year is going to be, I think, me personally, I think last year was his coming out party. That game against Dallas was his coming out party. But I think this year is going to be put on notice. Like he was very, very sneakily the fourth in rushing yards and sixth in scrimmage yards in the whole entire league. And everybody seems to be concerned by that. Because of his the first half of the season he wasn't awesome, or it was kind of same old James Cook. But I think that a full season with Joe Brady calling the shots, I think we'll see him. I think we'll see him improve on those numbers. He's a dark horse pick to lead the league in rushing yards. I think, in my opinion. Obviously, there's if you don't obviously Christian McCaffrey's probably going to do. He's probably going to lead the league in scrimmage yards again, like those kind of things. But if you're picking off the board, I don't see. I think Derrick Henry is in decline. I think his age is going to show. Baltimore always has bad luck with running backs. I think the two in Miami are going to be great, but again, they're they're splitting way more than James Cook is splitting with Ray Davis. That's for sure. Saquon in Philly, we'll kind of see how it goes, But I think as far as guys in the league, James Cook is right up at the top of that list of guys that I think are going to have massive, massive, massive years. And I think we need it. I think as an offense, I think that we need that aspect in our offense in order for it to, I guess, kind of reach its full potential, and kind of play how we want to. How, in order for the scheme to be effective, I think we need James Cook to be a huge part, and the running game to be a huge part of it, so that we can, what's the saying there? You run the ball so you can throw it, or whatever. Run the ball to set up the pass, and pass the ball to set up the run. That's kind of going to be our style all year. So yeah, I'd expect really big things from James Cook, and I expect the offense to just kind of keep on rolling. I don't think Bills fans, honestly, if you're listening to me, I don't think you're crazy, and it's okay to think that we're going to be good. You don't have to fall into the trap that people put out there online of, like, don't let them convince you that we're going to be bad. Like, we're still all right. Like I said on T's show, with Josh Allen, the window is never closed. You're one play away. Like I said on Brian's show, we scored a touchdown with 13 seconds left. 99.9% of the time, that gets you into the Super Bowl. Okay, 99% of the time, that touchdown that Gabe Davis scored gets you into the Super Bowl. Okay, part of the reason why I have such a big gripe with McDermott is that it didn't get us into the Super Bowl, but we scored a touchdown, 13 seconds left to get into the Super Bowl. Obviously, it didn't happen. But to say that the window is closed, or that, anybody, that Josh just can't beat Patrick Mahomes, like, yes and no. Anyways, that's a different topic. But what I'm saying is, we're still right there. It's okay to believe in this team. We are still good. We will still be good. And I think realistically, in the next 2 to 5 years after this season is when we're going to be really, really, really good. Keon will be a wide receiver one. We'll have Cole Bishop will be in his second year. He'll be taking over in the defensive backfield, and all those kinds of things. Another year for Kincaid and Allen, and O-line will be improving, and everything. Like, not this season, maybe not this. Like, I still think we win the division, and I still think we win the home playoff game, but this season is building for the next 2 to 5 years, where I think we really, really explode. The next thing I wanted to talk about was, so we get a lot of conversations. This one in particular on Twitter was a hockey conversation, because I was watching the game sevens. But the conversation is, because I was saying that McDavid is the best hockey player, and oftentimes we do this as well, talking about insert whatever. Like, I think Peyton Manning is the best quarterback I ever saw playing. Like, I missed a whole bunch of guys. Obviously, I haven't seen, like, I don't really remember Dan Marino all that well, or whatever. I think Peyton Manning was the best quarterback I've ever seen. Tom Brady is obviously the greater one. I think LeBron is the best basketball player I've ever seen. I think Michael Jordan is the greatest. So that's, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I think we get into it too much over greatest. Oh, is this guy the greatest? Is this guy the greatest? Well, he's never, and the answer is always, well, Josh Allen can't beat Patrick Mahomes, or whatever. MJ was 6-0 in the final. Like LeBron's record in the finals. Da, 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 like yes, but if you line them up one on one, I'm pretty sure LeBron James is going to destroy Michael Jordan in a game of basketball, and he's a better basketball player. Bigger, faster, stronger, like all those things. He's better, just overall better. So I don't like this is particularly the reason why I'm talking about it today is because we get lots of, as Bills fans, you guys know, we get lots of, oh, is this guy better than Allen? Is this guy better than Allen? And there's lots of debate as to who's the second best quarterback in the league. And just standing there watching them play football, it's clearly Josh. He's way, way, like the one I got into this week was if he's better than Dak Prescott. Like Dak, there's whole tiers of quarterbacks. That's what I said. There's whole tiers of quarterbacks in between Allen and Dak Prescott. He's clearly the number two to Patrick Mahomes. In the greater versus better debate, I think there's an actual conversation to be had as to who's the best quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, obviously the greater quarterback of the two. Patrick Mahomes probably already in the top 10 greatest, if not top 5 greatest of all time. But I think there's a conversation that you can legitimately make that, Allen is bigger, Allen can run better, Allen can throw the ball farther, or like whatever. I think there's lots of physical like I think Allen is better at extending the play. Mahomes is great at all those things as well. So I think that's why it's like a conversation that you can have. You can't have a conversation as to who's greater because the Super Bowls, the MVPs, all those kinds of things that go along with being great, they don't necessarily go along with who's better. So I think it's a very interesting subject and thing to talk about because there really is no right or wrong answer. It's just kind of who you sit there and watch and you're like, okay, this guy's clearly better. And some people will value other things over what I think is good or what I think your quarterback should be like, right? But I think just objectively sitting back watching an NFL game, I think there's no way you can say anybody except for Patrick Mahomes is better than Josh Allen. And I don't think there's anybody in the league right now. Obviously, I don't think there's anybody in the league right now greater than Patrick Mahomes either. I think if Allen can get in there, win get into the Super Bowl, I think obviously if he wins the Super Bowl, then boom, he's certified number 2 greatest in the league. And obviously that's kind of when the trophies and the accolades matter. But for someone to say that like Dak Prescott is better or that Joe Burrow going to the Super Bowl is like supposed to be the thing that makes him better, like Josh Allen didn't do that. He obviously didn't do it, but like Josh Allen, like people forget the context of the 13-second game. They just say Allen lost to Mahomes, which I guess is true, but Allen scored with 13 seconds left and never got the ball back again. So there is context there that matters, and just showing up and losing a Super Bowl doesn't automatically make you better than the next guy either. I don't think, anyways. But I get it. Like obviously, winning an AFC championship is a huge ordeal, and obviously would be a notch under Josh Allen's belt. Definitely something that I see happening. Like I said, in the next 2 to 5 years, I see us hoisting the Lombardi. I think it's definitely a possibility, and then that really catapults Allen into the greatest conversation of current quarterbacks. I don't think he's I don't think with one Super Bowl he's going to pass Mahomes or Brady or Manning or anything like that. But it gives him a little bit of gives the haters a little bit to a little bit to talk about. But with that said, we're going to take a quick little break, and then I'll kind of talk about some of the things I saw on, or one kind of funny little thing I got into on Twitter there. So yeah, so we'll be right back, and then we'll wrap up the show.